I'm just like, I just can't believe all the things that you have done. And I
Yeah.
just want to just thank you so much
Oh, that's awesome.
for gracing us with your presence here.
I am always supporting talent and people, and I live a life of service every day. I've launched so many careers, and I just help because I love it. I love seeing people succeed. And
Yes,
yeah, and I'm also doing my own thing too. I'm just coming back to me a little bit more now, you know.
you really are. You really are. And before we go into that, I
Yeah.
want you to uh take me down memory lane. Take me in the early adolescent
Oh my
years
God.
of the magnificent Gina.
Oh, I thank you. Um, when I was younger, I always wanted to act, sing, write poetry. I loved giving gifts to people. I was just one of those kids that just did a lot of, nice things to make people smile. I had the lead in all the plays and musicals in high school. And, you know, I, you know, I've always had a lot of interest in different areas, so it was very difficult at sometimes. But it's all working out now because all of my talents in all different areas have actually helped my success. So,
Wow.
a lot of the old fashioned actors, I mean, I could name drop a lot of real big ones, like Anne Bancroft would tell me, Gina, you just need to do one thing. Meanwhile, I'm like, well, if I did one thing, I wouldn't have survived in this business. You know what I
Right?
mean?
Oh my God. That is so true.
Yeah. I love photography. I've shot a lot of, famous celebrities. I shot Johnny Depp, everybody when I was on set years ago.
Wow.
Love photography. One of the things I don't really mention that you would get a kick out of is I was actually a publicist for Warren G and also Ice Cube's Lynch Mob records.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I never write a lot of that stuff because I've been trying to focus on film and acting and stuff. But after I did 21 Jump Street, I was trying to find some things that I could do that I love. And, growing up in the music business, with my dad and everything, which we'll talk about, um, I really wanted to be around music. So I said, what can I do? Well, so I went into music PR. So I started working, at Sony and learned kind of what was happening behind the scenes, which was very
Right.
helpful. And yeah, I did have pending music deals and album deals at one point. Big record labels were interested. And I just decided to switch gears because I really didn't want to tour a lot. I wanted to be home. I did want to have a family, so I was like, I knew what happens when you're on tour and everything, it's very difficult.
It's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, so but I still got to do music. I, recorded lots of albums and just did a tribute to my late dad. So I'm happy.
You do a great job in teaching the business
Yes.
and for you to start in the grassroots, do
Hmm.
you feel that appreciation that you got has helped you in such a way? Because a lot of people, they want to just get in the business to be famous without really
They don't
getting
understand the work. That's my biggest thing. I have a lot of people, don't forget I produce movies too, and I'm always casting and, a million things I do. Um, I think a lot of people don't understand how much work it takes. I think that's the biggest thing to knock into people's heads,
yeah.
honestly. And whether it's the music business or acting, or it doesn't really matter. I have to
Right.
explain to them that it's a business. You need to learn the business. In fact, I gave a speech. I do have an acting school, which you probably found out. And I gave a speech to my master class yesterday, saying, listen, let's talk about the business end of this. You guys are all talented and everything, but I need to make sure when you go on set, you act like a pro, you know,
Whoa.
because I've seen people get kicked off of sets because they don't know how to act on set,
That
you know.
right.
So I not only teach people how to act, and I've got some amazing actors now. I can't wait to see them win big awards one day. But
Wow.
I also want them to learn the in and outs of the business because that's something no one taught me when I was young.
Right.
But right now, I think I'm coming into my own now a little bit more. My kids are growing up a bit; they're in their 20s. I've got two
Yeah.
amazing kids, and I have a million kids at my school as a joke. I'm like, I'm your mom, you know. But I feel like the universe is doing something right now, and I'm just going with it. Just recently, so I'll give you an example. So I've been producing films, you know, for a while, which you probably looked up.
And
And
yes, you have.
yes, I did a lot, you know, from like 2000 and I'd say 17 to now. I've produced a lot, right? And then I started kind of like appearing in some of them, having fun, because, you know, I kind of got out of acting for a while, went behind the scenes. So I
Right.
said, you know, I'm just going to come back in, do little funny things. I love playing mobsters. That's like my favorite thing, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, hey, get out of here, buddy. You know what I mean? I love that, right? So I you know, I started kind of appearing a little bit, right? So then I'm like, you know, I think I'm going to put myself out there again. Why not? So a director came to me and he said, I have a script. I want you to be the lead in it. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Did that. So that's in post. Then another director came to me, wanted me to be one of the lead roles in that. I did that. Those are just all in post right now. And then I had a film that won loads of awards, you know, back in 2020. And I decided I'm going to make the feature of this movie, but this time I'm putting me in it.
Let's change the channel just for a second.
Okay.
Now your dad.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. Oh, my dad.
oh,
Oh,
all right. Yeah,
it's still a loss 25 years later. He was like my bud. He was my best friend. Oh man, that was tough. You know,
very, very, very tough.
I have a son now who's amazing. So I'm happy. It's kind of like he came right after my father passed. So I was like, thank you.
That was your dad. So let's
That was
talk
my
about him.
gift.
What first, how was it like to have such an amazing man as your father?
You know, it's funny. I've been trying to write the movie for like 5 years. It's like, it's so much. You know, how do you describe genius? You know,
Right.
someone you walk into a room and you just know, yeah, you know, he was so unbelievably talented. He was also one of a kind. Like they broke the mold with him. He was such a character, and
Right.
he was always talking jive. So you can imagine a little kid going, they don't talk like that at school, you know,
Right.
you know, and he had the most amazing stories, you know, with Duke Ellington. I have a great picture of Duke Ellington giving him a shave. I'll try to send
Wow.
that to you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. They were just
Are you
joking
serious?
around. Oh, seriously.
Wow.
Frank Sinatra was his, but I mean, you know, he was at a time that was magical.
Yeah.
But, you know, how do you describe genius? Now, I have had people say that to me too. And I go, God, thank you. You know, geez, that's amazing. But how do you describe genius? I think genius is being authentically yourself at the highest form.
At the highest.
At the highest form.
Yeah.
I think my father was himself in every way. People absolutely loved him. And
Wow.
there's a lot to say for that, you know. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mental Margarita Show. I have the multi award winning contemporary gospel hip hop artist, entrepreneur, all those wonderful things. Lady C is in the building.
Hey,
How
hey,
you feeling?
listen, I am doing good. I'm doing real good. It's a beautiful day outside. The storm came last night, so we made it through another storm. So all is well.
I'm telling you, there's been a lot of storming activity. but
Absolutely.
God is good and he's bringing us through.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Florida, huh?
Yeah, Dubai. That's where I was born and raised, and with my parents. And when you talking about being knitted together, what knitted us together was God. My parents were married, later divorced when I was probably about 5 years old. It was very traumatic to me. I remember the day my dad walked away, and I stood at the door screaming and crying for him.
Wow.
And he walked down the sidewalk and never came back. Met him later on in life. But my mom raised and nurtured us in church and in ministry. We worked in ministry, even as children. We worked in ministry, and there was 4 of us, and I am actually the second oldest.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot of responsibility laid upon me because I was the oldest girl. But yeah, that's what life was like. And we just grew up doing ministry. I fell in love and was introduced to God very young, at 16 years old. All these things were happening. And then I was also like an obese child. So I was dealing with that as well. So I got a lot of bullying. When I got into high school, I was still shy and passive, but I still love God. And people always call me the church girl. I always stood out because I grew up with strict parents, so you can't wear makeup, you can't wear pants. So I stood out for that reason, that part. And but life was good, and remarried. Then I had a stepfather who liked me in the wrong way. So I
Wow.
had to wrestle with that. And after graduation, I ended up running away from home for that reason.
Mm.
And later on, I got married, and that's when all the toxic began to happen in my life. And I believe that is the birthing of Lady C. No one likes to talk about how they got where they are a lot of times, and what was the process of the making. But there's always a making process. I don't believe that if he said if you suffer much, you're going to reign much. And that's what my life truly was. I suffered much ever since my birth. The enemy has been after me, but I am a survivor. I'm a survivor of all the negativity, the insecurities, the desires of someone wanting to take advantage of an innocent child, and finding a relationship that was even more toxic than what I had been through as a child. And I was a survivor. I don't say a victim anymore, but I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I met a preacher, young, didn't know anything about life, didn't go to clubs, didn't know anything, never been anywhere, never smoked nothing, drank nothing. And then I meet this gentleman, because all I knew was you better marry your preacher, because I had all these preachers around me. But it was where the Lord blessed me with children, but it was a very violent relationship. And I ended up from that relationship paralyzed from the neck down. And I always knew that I'll someday be preaching to a lot of people, but it's really my music that God had used me, and that vision in line with that music, because he's done just that. And now I'm standing, I'm walking, I'm actually moving by the power of God. It is actually a miracle. The doctor, when he saw my outcome, he decided to just stop doing medicine, because he realized that there is a God. Because he told my family she has like a 5% a chance of walking. But here I am, not only am I walking, but I got some moves.
Hey.
Yes.
And you know what? You have moves, but you have shared the stage with some
Yes.
people that have some moves too. So
Yes.
you have been accompanied with great presence.
Yes.
Some serious movers and shakers in the business. Dr. Bobby Jones, Kirk
Yes.
Franklin,
Kirk Franklin, James Fortune,
Diller,
Diller.
I mean, whoa, these are big names.
They
How does
are.
that make you feel?
It it feels so surreal sometimes, and I'm in awe. I am just in awe, and I'm humbled, very humbled, because I realize where I come from and that he chose me to be here. So I stay humble and I help others. That's the most important thing to me. So if you ask me how I feel, I feel motivated. I feel like I want to encourage everybody. Like, never give up. Never give up. I don't care what the outcome is. Never give up, because there is purpose in all of us.
Just give me that. Just give me that. Just give me that. Just give me that. Don't give me that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, wish I would've did it. Just give me that. Just give me that. Just give me that. Don't give me that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, wish I would've did it. Just give me that. Just give me that. Just give me that. Don't give me that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, wish I would've did it. Just give me that. Just give me that. I ain't gonna play.
What you gonna do?
I come to praise. You can get out of my way. Dancing and jumping all day. I'm in my own lane. Get out of state. Giving my best. Don't care about the rest. This moment is real. Can't sit here and chill. Like they about to lose my clothes. Move out my way. I need the whole flow. I can do it all night when the music is right. We can do it when we good. We can do it in the mood. We can do it when you're mad. You can do it when you're glad. You can do it when you're up. When you do it when you're down. You can do it all day. You can do it all night. You can do it with your hand. You can do it with your feet. You can do it with your lips. You can even do it skip. You can do it in your head, but you can't do it there. Don't give me that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, wish I would've did it. Just give me that. Just give me that. Just give me that.
Just give me that.
Don't give me that. Woulda, coulda.
Man, I'm feeling great, man. I think what I love is that I got a chance to marinate even more on the stuff that you put out, man. And let's talk about New Panther. Let's talk about all the visuals that you have out right now. How was it like making some of those joints and the feedback? How's the response been?
Shoot, like from New Panther, man, the response has been crazy, man, since I put that joint out, did the video for it, man. It was, that record too was just meant to, it was meant to hype people up, but it was meant to speak about, you know, Breonna Taylor, you know, our lost brothers and sisters out here that's been getting violated by, you know what I mean, 5-0, that's been getting disrespected,
Right.
and killed, you know, with no justice. So, you know, in that song, it was more like an empowerment, man, for the people, man, to just show us like, hey, we kings and queens. And, you know, we, you know, instead of dissing the ops this time, we're going to start dissing the racists. We're going to start dissing these dirty cops that ain't doing their job, man. Like, so, yeah,
Right.
It was just fire doing that, getting my people, getting some people from the neighborhood, the youngins. Like, if people watch the video, you can see it's like, you know, it's family, but it's like even random, you know, people came off the blocks and started coming through and doing their thing.
I was feeling that, man. I was feeling that. I was like, whoa, this video's got, it captures a certain movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all about the lyrics. And I love the fact that your lyrics are deep, my brother.
Yeah. You know, that's where I come from. That's where I come from, man. Everybody, you know, everybody got their own, you know, spot in the generation. I'm glad that I'm kind of between both. Like I grew up in the 90s, late 90s, enough to know like, dang, Cassidy and Jada Kiss and Eminem and all these dudes. And then you start looking back and seeing, you know, from your people, your uncle and them, Rakim, and knowing that, yo, all these dudes, even Meth from the island. You know, everybody,
for real, man.
legends, and they from the island, lyrical
Come
monsters.
on,
So I always, yeah, like I always been a, you know, I gotta make it lyrical. And like I said, I'm gonna say the things that people are afraid to say. Because my favorite, that's what they did. They even 50 ain't you see even today, Son Petty on the line. He don't care. He don't care. That's how you gotta be though.
Yeah. And that's good, man. And that really, I think that really separates you from so many different artists. Now, when you think of hip hop right now, I mean, do you like the direction that is going in right now currently?
Shoot, I think it's going in a dope direction. I just think that, at a certain point, especially with New York, like I mess with all the movements. I mess with the drill movements, mess with the trap movements, you know what I'm saying? I just think that, and not a lot of artists are like me, whereas like, they're gonna have a whole album or 4 songs and they might be on the radio, but it sound the same. Like even somebody that's from a producer standpoint, it's just and they just take a 90s sample. How do you want it? How do you? And it's just like, all right, let's take this and then add another sample. Like it just sound the same. You know what I'm saying? I wish cats would just like kind of, either the radio or the industry, whoever's controlling the airwaves, would just try to do how it was back in the day. Like back then, even in the early 2000s, we ain't just hear 50. We ain't just hear Jada. They had Lil Wayne and all of them up in the mix, but it was always, you knew it was New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there was many styles to New York. You had DMX, like,
so many styles, man.
Yeah, so many styles, man. That just kind of made you like, dang, like I can't wait to hear what they gonna say next or what type of style. I knew it's gonna be, you know what I mean? It's just today, it's fire. A lot of dope artists, like Joyner Lucas, he's dope. A lot of dope artists out right now, but just dudes just got to get back in the game and just doing kind of like everybody. I'm not saying be like me, but try to be diverse. You know what I'm saying? Hit them with some
creative.
Be creative. Hit them with some flavor, something that people ain't really heard before. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Very important. I think that's very important. Especially when you're talking about who's next up to come. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to really grab the torch for hip hop and the culture and bring something real fresh to the table? We might, we might be looking at them right now. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you looking at them. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Like, I try to bring lyricism and I bring that. What I try to bring is excitement. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to bring some excitement back to. If I'm gonna do new era or hip hop stuff, I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make it exciting for you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just gonna say the old okie doke. All right, we just going to the vibe and the beat. Like, nah, I want you to hear me.
Right. Our man LL Cool J, he's got a new album that's coming out. The Force is doing his thing. He's trying to really take hip hop on a whole different level as far as, you can be in your mid 50s and still do this thing. Hip hop is only 50 years old. And a lot of people haven't seen that. You know what I'm saying? They haven't seen, the Rolling, like the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger doing his thing to these 80, these rockers doing their thing. How do you feel about that as far as hip hop is concerned? I mean, do you feel like it's a genre of music that you can be 50, 60 going on and rocking this thing? Or do you feel like it's a young man's sport?
Shoot, I feel like it's an any man's sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, things that I just seen. Like I just bring up 2 Chainz. Like he did a BET freestyle, and before that, as a kid, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know that he was with Dungeon Family, and I didn't know all that. Like people didn't really know about him, but he was like 35, 36 when he did that. You know what I mean? And then from there, you heard Lamborghini Mercy, and all of a sudden, he just was all over the place.
All over the place.
Yeah, and Jada Kiss is another one. He got wild tracks. There's a track called Me, the joint mixtape that he did with Fab. That joint went crazy. The Freddie versus Jason. So and they about 40 something. Like to me, I just think it's kind of foul how like in this game, you got a lot of the clickbait people and you got a lot of these internet nerds that try to disrespect people that try to do it that's 40 and 50, that they try to violate. But these dudes
Right.
is legends, and they can do it. If they did it back then, they could do it today. Like LL, I'm not surprised that it's doing what it's doing. You know, so
Right.
I think it's not even, it's an any man's game. You know what I'm saying? We got projects coming, big things coming, man. So, you know, you ain't wrong, brother. It's offended.
All right, well, look, don't let me hold you. How do they reach you? How do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, everybody, y'all can reach me at _RJ the Realist. That's RJDAREALEST. That's RJ the Realist. You can reach me. You can find my music on Spotify, Apple, YouTube at RJ space DA space Realist. Everybody check me out, man. Represent Long Island. We live. Shout out to Sly. Shout out to Nicole. Hey, man, we gotta do this again, brother.
Rhino Management, baby. Rhino
Management in the building.
Rhino Management's in the building.
Rhino in the building.
I'm gonna be spreading it, man. I'm gonna be spreading it, embedding it, and doing everything I can, and you keep shredding it.
Nah, you already know, brother. We're gonna be on the move, man. And we definitely gonna do this again.
We gotta bring you guys out to Vegas, man. We definitely gotta do something in Vegas, and we're gonna figure it out in the next couple of months or so, but we gotta do something big in Vegas.
Do you and your honey love art? Then take a drive to the Goldwell Open Air Museum and enjoy this fantastic sculpture park, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Experience Nevada's best kept secret and mark your calendars for October 18th through the 20th as we celebrate Goldwell's 40th anniversary. We're located near the ghost town of Bryolite. For more information, visit goldwellmuseum.org.
You're starstruck.